Imagine this. You wake up one morning to an email that changes everything. Your boss, with a few curt words, tells you your position has been eliminated. Years of hard work, late nights, and sacrifices gone in an instant. Or maybe it's not a job. Maybe it's a phone call that ends a relationship you thought would last forever. The person you loved, the one you planned a future with, walks away, leaving you with a heart full of questions and a life that feels shattered. These moments, these gut-punching setbacks, are all too familiar. They're the kind of moments that make you question everything: your choices, your worth, your future. If you're watching this, chances are you've faced a moment like this. Maybe you're in the middle of one right now. The pain is real. The anger, the frustration, the sense of unfairness, it's all real. And in a world that often feels chaotic, where bad things happen to good people, it's easy to feel like life is against you. But what if there was a way to not just endure these moments, but to embrace them, to find meaning in the chaos, strength in the struggle, and even a strange kind of love for the very things that break you down? This is where an ancient idea, reborn through the lens of philosophy, comes in: a concept called Amor Fati. In Latin, it means love of fate. It's a call to not just accept the ups and downs of life, but to love them, to see every moment, good or bad, as an essential part of your story. It's a radical idea, one that comes from the Stoics, those timeless thinkers who taught us how to live with courage and clarity, and from Friedrich Nietzsche, who gave this idea its name. Amor Fati isn't about pretending everything is okay or ignoring the pain. It's about looking at the hardest parts of your life and saying, "This is mine, this is necessary, and I will make something beautiful out of it." In today's world, where so many of us, especially young people, are grappling with setbacks, this idea feels more relevant than ever. Losing a job isn't just about losing a paycheck. It's about losing a sense of identity, purpose, and stability. A breakup isn't just the end of a relationship. It's the end of a vision you had for your life. These challenges are universal, but they hit harder in a society that pressures us to always be winning, always be happy, always be on. Social media doesn't help, does it? Scroll through your feed, and it's a highlight reel of everyone else's perfect lives. New jobs, engagements, dream vacations. Meanwhile, you're sitting there, wondering how you'll pick up the pieces of your own. But here's the truth. Those perfect lives aren't real. Everyone struggles. Everyone falls. And the difference between those who crumble and those who rise isn't luck or talent. It's perspective. That's what Amor Fati offers. A way to shift your perspective, to stop fighting against what life throws at you and start seeing it as a teacher, a guide, a partner in your growth. This isn't some fluffy self-help mantra. It's a battle-tested philosophy, forged by people who faced real hardship, exile, loss, even death, and came out stronger. Let's pause for a moment and think about your own life. What's the hardest thing you're facing right now? Maybe you've been laid off, and the bills are piling up while you send out resume after resume. Maybe you've gone through a breakup, and the silence of your apartment feels louder than ever. Or maybe it's something quieter, a dream that didn't work out, a goal you didn't reach, a version of yourself you thought you'd become by now. Whatever it is, I want you to hold that moment in your mind. Don't push it away. Don't try to fix it just yet. Just let it be there. Because this video isn't about running from that pain. It's about learning to love it. The Stoics, like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius, believed that we don't control what happens to us, but we do control how we respond. Epictetus once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This is the foundation of Amor Fati, recognizing that life will always bring challenges. But those challenges don't define you. Your response does. Nietzsche took this idea further, urging us not just to accept our fate, but to embrace it with passion, to say yes to every part of our lives, even the parts that hurt. Why does this matter? Because when you start to love your fate, something shifts. The job loss that felt like the end of the world becomes a chance to rediscover what you're truly capable of. The heartbreak that kept you up at night becomes a lesson in resilience, self-worth, and the courage to love again. The failures that made you feel small become the building blocks of a stronger, wiser. Amor Fati doesn't erase the pain, it transforms it. In this video, we're going to explore what it means to truly love your fate. We'll follow the story of someone like you, someone who's been knocked down by life and found a way to stand up stronger. We'll dive into the philosophy behind Amor Fati, drawing on the wisdom of Nietzsche and the Stoics to show you how to apply it to your own struggles. And we'll end with a practical exercise, a way to start practicing this mindset today, so you can turn your hardest moments into your greatest teachers. So, here's my question to you. What would your life look like if you could love every part of it, the good, the bad, the messy, the beautiful? What if, instead of fighting your fate, you embraced it as the raw material for your growth? Stick with me, and let's find out together. Because the truth is, your struggles don't just shape you, they make you. And when you learn to love your fate, you unlock a kind of strength that nothing can take away. Let's meet Alex. Alex is 29, living in a bustling city, chasing dreams, like so many of us. Up until a few months ago, Alex had a life that looked good on paper. A steady job as a marketing coordinator at a growing startup, a relationship with Jamie, someone Alex thought might be the one, a small but cozy apartment filled with plans for the future. A promotion, maybe a trip abroad, maybe even a ring. But life, as it often does, had other plans. It started with a Monday morning that felt like any other. Alex walked into the office, coffee in hand, ready to tackle the week. But by 10 a.m., everything changed. The CEO called an all-hands meeting. The room was tense, the air heavy with whispers. "We're downsizing," the CEO said, voice flat. "The market's tough, and we have to make hard choices." Alex's name was on the list. Just like that. 3 years of late nights, skipped weekends, and endless presentations were reduced to a severance package and a cardboard box for personal belongings. Walking out of the office, Alex felt the ground shift. The city, once vibrant and full of promise, now felt cold and indifferent. The first few days were a blur. Alex sat on the couch, staring at the same job listings, sending resumes into what felt like a void. The silence was deafening. No replies, no callbacks, just the hum of the fridge and the weight of uncertainty. Bills started piling up. The savings account, already thin, began to dwindle. And then came the questions, the ones that creep in at 2 a.m. What did I do wrong? Why me? What am I even good for? But the job loss wasn't the only blow. A few weeks later, Yami sat Alex down. "I've been thinking," Yami said, eyes avoiding Alex. "I don't think this is working anymore." The words hit like a punch. Alex had seen the distance growing, fewer texts, shorter calls, but hearing it out loud was different. Jamie moved out, leaving behind half-empty drawers and a quiet that stung more than the layoffs. Alex was alone, not just in the apartment, but in a way that felt deeper, more existential. The life Alex had built, the one that seemed so certain, was unraveling. At first, Alex fought the pain. There was anger at the company for letting go of loyal employees, at Jamie for giving up, at the world for being so unfair. There was shame, too. Alex stopped posting on social media, couldn't bear to see friends' updates about new jobs or happy relationships. Every congratulations post felt like a reminder of failure. There were nights when Alex lay awake, replaying every decision, every moment that could have gone differently. If I'd worked harder, if I'd been more present, if I'd been enough. The thoughts were relentless, a storm that wouldn't let up. One evening, feeling particularly lost, Alex scrolled through YouTube, looking for something, anything to quiet the noise. A video popped up about Stoicism, a philosophy Alex had vaguely heard of, but never explored. The thumbnail showed a quote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." It was by someone named Epictetus. Curious, Alex clicked play. The video talked about how the Stoics faced hardship not by running from it, but by confronting it with clarity and purpose. One phrase stood out, Amor Fati, love your fate. Not just accept it, but embrace it. Every joy, every pain, every moment. Alex was skeptical. Love this. Love losing a job. Love a broken heart. It sounded absurd, almost insulting, but something about the idea stuck. The video mentioned a book, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, and Alex, desperate for answers, ordered a copy. When it arrived, Alex started reading, underlining passages that hit like lifelines. One line kept coming back. Everything that happens is either endurable or not. If it's endurable, then endure it. Stop complaining. It was blunt, almost harsh, but it cut through the fog of self-pity. Alex started digging deeper, finding Nietzsche's words on Amor Fati. That one wants nothing to be different. Not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. Not merely bear what is necessary, but love it. It wasn't just about surviving the layoffs or the breakup. It was about seeing them as necessary, as part of the raw material of life. Alex began to wonder, what if this pain isn't here to destroy me? What if it's here to teach me something? The shift didn't happen overnight. There were still bad days. Days when the rejection emails stung, when the sight of Jamie's old coffee mug brought tears. But Alex started small. Instead of scrolling job boards in a panic, Alex took a walk each morning, noticing the way the city woke up, the street vendors, the joggers, the sunrise painting the skyline. It was a reminder that life was still moving, and so could Alex. Instead of avoiding friends, Alex reached out, sharing the truth. I'm struggling, but I'm trying to figure it out. And slowly, Alex began to journal, writing down the mess of emotions, the fears, the faint glimmers of hope. One night, Alex wrote something new. I lost my job, but maybe that's not the end. Maybe it's a chance to find something I care about more. It was a small thought, fragile, but real. The next day, Alex signed up for an online course in graphic design, something that had always been a quiet passion but never a priority. It wasn't a fix, not yet, but it was a step. And with each step, Alex started to see the pieces of a new life, not the one planned, but one that could be just as meaningful. The breakup, too, began to take on a different shape. Alex realized that the relationship with Jamie had been built on compromises that dimmed their own light. The pain of losing Jamie wasn't just about loss, it was about rediscovering who Alex was outside of us. In the quiet of the apartment, Alex started to find comfort in solitude, in the freedom to rebuild without expectations. It wasn't easy, but it was honest. This is where Alex's story starts to turn. Not because the external circumstances changed, No new job offer came. No grand reconciliation happened, but because Alex's perspective did. Amor Fati wasn't about pretending the pain didn't exist. It was about looking at the pain and saying, "You're part of my story, and I'm going to make you mean something." Alex didn't know it yet, but this was the beginning of a transformation, one that would take the broken pieces of a life and turn them into something stronger, wiser, and more authentic. As we follow Alex's journey, we'll see how this philosophy takes root, how it changes not just thoughts, but actions. Because Amor Fati isn't just an idea, it's a practice, a way of living that can turn even the darkest moments into opportunities for growth. And if Alex can start to love their fate, maybe you can too. So, we followed Alex's story, a life turned upside down by a job loss and a breakup, a life that felt like it was falling apart. But we also saw the first sparks of something new, a shift in perspective, a whisper of a radical idea called Amor Fati. This Latin phrase, meaning love of fate, isn't just a catchy slogan, it's a profound philosophy, one that has its roots in the ancient wisdom of Stoicism and was brought to life in a new way by the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. Today, we're diving deep into what Amor Fati really means, how it connects to Stoic principles, and most importantly, how you can use it to transform the way you face life's challenges. Let's start with the core idea. Amor Fati is about more than just accepting what happens to you. It's about embracing it, loving it, seeing every moment good, bad, or downright painful as an essential part of your journey. Nietzsche, the philosopher who coined the term, put it beautifully. My formula for greatness in a human being is Amor Fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity, not merely bear what is necessary, still less conceal it, but love it. Think about that for a second. He's not saying to tolerate your struggles or grit your teeth through them. He's saying to love them, to see them as necessary, even beautiful. This might sound impossible. Love the fact that you lost your job. Love the heartbreak that keeps you up at night. Love the moments when life feels unfair. It's a tall order, and it's natural to feel resistance. But to understand how this mindset works, we need to look at its roots in Stoicism, a philosophy that's been helping people navigate life's storms for over 2,000 years. The Stoics thinkers like Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca believed that the key to a good life lies in focusing on what you can control and letting go of what you can't. Epictetus, a former slave who faced unimaginable hardship, said, "There is only one way to happiness, and that is to cease worrying about things which are beyond the power of our will." This is the foundation of Amor Fati. The Stoics taught that external events, job losses, breakups, illnesses are outside your control. But your response, your attitude, your inner world, that's entirely yours to shape. Let's break it down. Imagine you're Alex, sitting in that quiet apartment, jobless and heartbroken. The Stoics would say, you can't control that your company downsized. You can't control that Jamie walked away. Those are facts, as unchangeable as the weather. But you can control how you think about them. You can control whether you let those events define you or whether you use them to grow. Amor Fati takes this a step further. It's not just about controlling your response, it's about embracing the event itself, seeing it as a necessary piece of the puzzle that is your life. Let's look at another Stoic gem from Epictetus. Do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happens the way it happens. Then you will be happy. This is Amor Fati in its purest form. Instead of wishing for a different past, no layoffs. No breakup wish for things to be exactly as they are. Why? Because every moment, every struggle carries a lesson, an opportunity, a chance to become stronger, wiser, more resilient. Now, let's be real. This is hard. When you're in the middle of a crisis, the last thing you want to hear is, "Love it." But Amor Fati isn't about denying pain or pretending everything's fine. It's about finding meaning in the pain. It's about asking, what can this teach me? How can this make me better? Let's take an example. Say you've been passed over for a promotion you worked hard for. Your first instinct might be anger or self-doubt. But what if you paused and asked, what's the lesson here? Maybe it's a chance to improve a skill you didn't realize was lacking. Maybe it's a push to explore a new career path that aligns more with your passions. The event itself doesn't change, but your relationship to it does. Nietzsche's Amor Fati builds on this Stoic foundation, but adds a layer of passion, almost défiance. He didn't just want us to accept fate, he wanted us to love it with every fiber of our being. For Nietzsche, life is a work of art, and every moment, even the painful ones, is a brushstroke that shapes the masterpiece of who you are. Think about an artist painting a canvas. They don't curse the dark colors or throw out the brush when it makes a mistake. They work with it, blending the shadows with the light to create something beautiful. That's what Amor Fati asks of us, to see our lives as a canvas, where every moment has its place. Let's bring this back to Alex. When Alex lost their job, it felt like a dark, ugly stroke across the canvas of their life. But what if that loss was the contrast needed to highlight something new? Maybe it's the push to pursue graphic design, a passion Alex had buried under the demands of a stable job. The breakup with Jamie, painful as it was, might be the shadow that makes Alex's rediscovery of self-worth shine brighter. This is Amor Fati in action, not erasing the pain, but weaving it into the larger picture. So, how do you actually practice Amor Fati? It starts with a shift in how you see the world. The Stoics used a technique called premeditatio malorum, imagining the worst-case scenarios, not to dwell on them, but to prepare for them mentally. Try this. Think about something you're struggling with right now. Maybe it's a financial setback, a strained relationship, or a goal that feels out of reach. Now, instead of asking, "Why is this happening to me?" ask, "How can I use this? What strength can I build from this?" This simple question flips the script. It turns you from a victim of circumstance into an active participant in your own story. Another way to practice is through gratitude, not the superficial kind, but a deep, stoic gratitude for the reality of your life. When Alex started journaling, they didn't just write about the pain. They began to write about what the pain revealed: resilience they didn't know they had, dreams they'd forgotten, the freedom to start over. This is where Amor Fati becomes transformative. It's not about loving the pain itself, but loving what it makes possible. Let's try a quick exercise right now. Think of one challenge you're facing. It could be small, like a frustrating day at work, or big, like a major life change. Close your eyes for a moment and picture it. Now, say to yourself, "This is my fate. I don't just accept it, I embrace it. I will make it part of my story." Feel the resistance, but also feel the possibility. What could this challenge teach you? How could it shape you into someone stronger? Amor Fati and Stoicism aren't about escaping life's hardships. They're about facing them head-on with courage and purpose. They remind us that life isn't happening to you, it's happening for you. Every struggle is a chance to practice resilience, to refine your character, to create meaning. As we move forward, we'll see how Alex puts this philosophy into action, turning pain into growth, And we'll explore a practical tool, a gratitude journal inspired by Amor Fati, that you can use to start loving your own fate today. We've walked with Alex through the storm, losing a job, losing a relationship, losing a sense of certainty about the future. We've explored the philosophy of Amor Fati, the radical idea of loving your fate, rooted in Stoic wisdom and Nietzsche's passionate call to embrace every moment of life. But knowing about Amor Fati is one thing, living it is another. In this part, we're going to see how Alex takes this philosophy and turns it into action, transforming pain into purpose, despair into determination, and setbacks into stepping stones. This isn't a fairy tale ending where everything magically falls into place. It's a real, messy, human journey of growth, one that you can learn from. 2. When we last left Alex, things were starting to shift. The initial shock of the layoff and the breakup had settled into a quieter kind of pain, the kind that lingers like a bruise. But Alex had stumbled across Stoicism and Amor Fati, and those ideas were like seeds planted in fertile ground. They didn't erase the hurt, but they offered a new way to see it. Alex began to ask a question that changed everything. What if this isn't happening to me, but for me? The first step was small but deliberate. Alex had started journaling, pouring out the anger, the fear, the why me questions that had been looping endlessly. But now, inspired by Epictetus's words, "You have power over your mind," not outside events, Alex began to write differently. Instead of focusing on what was lost, Alex started looking for what could be gained. One entry read, "Losing my job feels like a failure, but maybe it's a chance to stop chasing someone else's idea of success. What do I really want?" It was a simple question, but it cracked open a door that had been closed for years. That question led Alex to graphic design, a passion that had always been there, but was buried under the demands of a practical career. Alex enrolled in an online course, spending evenings learning about color theory, typography, and layout. It wasn't easy. There were moments of doubt. Am I too old to start over? Will this even lead to a job? But Alex kept going, guided by the Stoic idea of focusing on what's in your control. The course was in Alex's control. Showing up every day was in Alex's control. The outcome, that was for the universe to decide. As Alex worked through the course, something unexpected happened. The act of designing logos, experimenting with visuals brought a sense of joy that had been missing for years. It wasn't about replacing the old job. It was about rediscovering a part of themselves that had been sidelined. One night, Alex wrote in their journal, "I lost my job, and it hurt. But that loss pushed me to try something I love. I'm starting to see it as a gift." This was Amor Fati taking root, not just accepting the layoff, but loving it for the doors it opened. The breakup with Jamie was harder to reframe, but Alex tackled it with the same mindset. At first, the pain of Jamie's absence was overwhelming. Every corner of the apartment held memories, a photo on the fridge, a book Jamie left behind. But Alex began to apply Amor Fati here. 2. Instead of seeing the breakup as a rejection, Alex started to see it as a release. Maybe this is my chance to figure out who I am on my own. Alex wrote, "Maybe I was holding on to a version of myself that wasn't true." This realization led to small, brave steps. Alex started spending time alone, intentionally, not as a victim of loneliness, but as an explorer of their own heart. They took long walks, listened to music they loved, and even tried cooking new recipes, something they'd always left to Jamie. These moments weren't about moving on in the cliché sense. They were about rebuilding a relationship with themselves. One evening, while sketching a design, Alex caught themselves smiling for no reason. A quiet, authentic moment of peace. It wasn't happiness in the loud, Instagram-filtered way. It was something deeper, something stoic, the calm that comes from aligning with reality. Alex also leaned on the Stoic practice of negative visualization, or premeditatio malorum. Every morning, Alex would take a moment to imagine the day's challenges. Another rejection email, a tough design critique, a pang of loneliness, and mentally prepare to meet them with resilience. This wasn't about pessimism, it was about readiness. By expecting setbacks, Alex found they didn't hit as hard. A rejection from a freelance gig still stung, but instead of spiraling, Alex thought, "This is my fate today. I'll learn from it and keep going." That shift in perspective turned obstacles into teachers. Over time, these small acts of Amor Fati began to compound. Alex landed a small freelance design project, not a dream job, but a start. The client loved the work, and Alex felt a spark of pride they hadn't felt in years. The apartment, once a reminder of loss, became a space of possibility, a desk covered in sketches, a wall pinned with ideas. And while Alex still thought of Jamie, the pain was no longer a wound, but a scar, a reminder of a chapter that shaped them but didn't define them. What's powerful about Alex's journey is that it's not about erasing the past. Amor Fati doesn't promise a perfect life or a quick fix. It's about taking the raw material of your life, the layoffs, the heartbreaks, the failures, and shaping it into something meaningful. Alex didn't get their old job back or reconcile with Jamie, but they found something better, a sense of agency, a connection to their own strength, a life that felt like theirs. This transformation wasn't instant. There were still days when doubt crept in, when the bank account looked too low or the silence felt too heavy, but Alex had a new lens. Every challenge was part of the story, and every part of the story was necessary. As Nietzsche said, that which does not kill us makes us stronger. For Alex, Amor Fati was about seeing every moment as a chance to forge that strength. So, what can you take from Alex's story? It's not about copying their path, it's about finding your own. Think about your own struggles. Maybe you're facing a setback that feels insurmountable. Maybe you're carrying a pain that feels too heavy to bear. Amor Fati invites you to look at that pain and say, "You're mean. You're part of my story. And I'm going to make you mean something." It's about taking one small step, whether it's signing up for a course, writing down your thoughts, or simply choosing to get out of bed with purpose. Those steps add up, and they lead you to a life that's not just endured, but loved. In the next part, we'll share a practical tool, a gratitude journal inspired by Amor Fati that Alex used to deepen this practice. It's a way for you to start loving your fate. 2. Turning your challenges into opportunities for growth. Because if Alex can do it, so can you. We followed Alex's journey through loss, heartbreak, and the slow, powerful shift toward embracing life's challenges with Amor Fati. We've explored the philosophy behind loving your fate, rooted in Stoic wisdom and Nietzsche's bold vision. But philosophy isn't just for thinking, it's for living. So, how do you take Amor Fati from an idea to a practice that changes your life? That's what this part is about. We're going to walk through a simple, powerful exercise that Alex used to transform pain into purpose, a gratitude journal inspired by Amor Fati. It's a tool you can start using today to love your fate, no matter what it brings. This exercise isn't about forcing yourself to feel happy or pretending your struggles don't exist. It's about looking at the hardest parts of your life and finding the hidden gifts within them. The Stoics believed that every challenge carries a lesson, and Amor Fati asks you to not just see that lesson, but to be grateful for it. This journal is your way to do that, a space to reframe your struggles, to turn why me into thank you. Let's break it down into 3 clear steps, with an example from Alex's life. To guide you, step 1, write about a difficult event. Start by picking one challenge you're facing right now. It could be something big, like a job loss or a breakup, or something smaller, like a tough day at work or a fight with a friend. Be honest and specific. Describe what happened and how it made you feel. Don't hold back. Let the emotions spill onto the page. The goal here isn't to sugarcoat the pain, but to face it head on, as the Stoics would for Alex. This meant writing about the layoff. In their journal, Alex wrote, "I got laid off 3 months ago. I walked out of the office feeling like I'd been punched. I felt worthless, like all my hard work meant nothing. I'm scared about money, about what comes next, about whether I'm good enough." This step is about naming the struggle, giving it shape, so you can start to work with it. Step 2. Identify the lesson or opportunity. Now, take a deep breath and ask yourself, what can this teach me? What opportunity is hidden in this moment? This is where Amor Fati comes alive. You're not denying the pain, you're looking for the ways it's shaping you, pushing you, or opening a door you didn't see before. Maybe a rejection taught you resilience. Maybe a failure showed you what you truly value. Write down at least one lesson or possibility, even if it feels small. Alex tried this with the layoff. At first, it was hard to see anything positive, but after some reflection, Alex wrote, "Losing my job forced me to stop and think about what I really want. It pushed me to try graphic design, something I'd always loved, but never had the courage to pursue. It's teaching me that I'm more capable than I thought." This step isn't about finding a silver lining, it's about seeing the struggle as a teacher, a necessary part of your growth. Step 3. Write a thank you note to your fate. This is the heart of the exercise. The moment you practice Amor Fati, write a short letter to your fate, thanking it for this challenge and the lessons it brought. This isn't about pretending the pain doesn't exist. It's about choosing to love the journey, flaws and all. Use simple, honest words. You might feel resistance, and that's okay. The act of writing it down starts to shift your perspective. Alex's thank you note looked like this. "Dear fate, thank you for taking away my job. It hurt, and I'm still scared sometimes. But you showed me I was stuck in a life that wasn't mine. You gave me a chance to rediscover my passion for design, to find out what I'm capable of. Thank you for pushing me to grow." Reading it back, Alex felt a small but real sense of peace, not because the problems were gone, but because they were starting to mean something. Now, it's your turn. Grab a notebook, a piece of paper, or even your phone. Set aside 10 minutes today and try this exercise. Start with something specific, a challenge that's weighing on you. Write about it honestly. Then, look for the lesson, even if it's just a seed of possibility. Finally, write your thank you note to fate. It doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be yours. Do this once a week, or even daily if you can, and watch how your relationship with your struggles begins to change. Why does this work? Because it's a practice of shifting your focus, something the Stoics were masters at. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." By writing down your challenges and reframing them, you're training your mind to see them differently. You're taking control of your narrative, turning yourself from a victim of fate into its partner. And that's what Amor Fati is all about. Loving your life, not in spite of its hardships, but because of them. If you're feeling stuck, start small. Maybe your challenge is a bad day at work. Write about it. "My boss criticized my project, and I felt embarrassed. then find the lesson. It showed me I need to communicate my ideas more clearly. Then thank your fate. Thank you for this feedback. It's helping me grow over time. These small acts build a habit of resilience, a way of living that makes you stronger with every challenge. I want to challenge you to try this exercise today. Share your experience in the comments below. How did it feel to thank your fate? What lesson did you uncover? Your story might inspire someone else to take the same step. And if you're ready to go deeper, stick around for the final part of this video, where we'll wrap up with a powerful call to action and a reminder of why loving your fate can change everything. We've been on quite a journey together. We started with the raw reality of life's challenges, those moments, like Alex's job loss and heartbreak, that can make you feel like the ground is crumbling beneath you. We explored Amor Fati, the radical Stoic idea of loving your fate, not just enduring it, but embracing every moment as a vital part of your story. We dove into the philosophy, drawing on Nietzsche's passion and Epictetus's clarity, and we saw how Alex transformed pain into purpose by choosing to see setbacks as opportunities, and we shared a practical tool, a gratitude journal, to help you start practicing Amor Fati in your own life. Now, as we close, let's bring it all together and ask, what does it mean to truly love your fate? And how can it change the way you live? Amor Fati is more than a philosophy. It's a way of being. It's a commitment to say yes to life in all its messiness, beauty, and unpredictability. It's about recognizing that every challenge, every loss, every moment of doubt is not a detour from your path, but a part of it. The Stoics taught us that we can't control what happens to us. Job losses, breakups, failures will come, but we can control how we respond. And Amor Fati takes that control to a new level. It's not just about responding with resilience. It's about responding with love, seeing every twist of fate as a chance to grow stronger, wiser, more fully yourself. Think about Alex's story. When Alex lost their job, it felt like the end of a dream. When Jamie walked away, it felt like the end of a future. But by embracing Amor Fati, Alex didn't just survive those moments. They used them to build a new life, one rooted in passion, self-discovery, and purpose. The layoff became a push toward graphic design, a path Alex might never have explored otherwise. The breakup became a chance to reconnect with themselves, to find a strength they didn't know they had. This is the power of loving your fate. It turns the things that break you into the things that make you. Now, let's bring this to you. What's the challenge you're facing right now? Maybe it's a career setback, a relationship that's faltering, or a dream that feels out of reach. Maybe it's something quieter, a sense of being stuck, a fear of what's next. Whatever it is, Amor Fati invites you to look at that challenge and see it not as an enemy, but as a teacher. It's asking you to stop fighting the reality of your life and start working with it. As Epictetus said, do not seek for things to happen the way you want them to. Rather, wish that what happens happens the way it happens. Then you will be happy. That's the promise of Amor Fati. Not a life without pain, but a life where pain has purpose. So, here's my challenge to you. Start today. Take the gratitude journal exercise we shared in the last part and make it a habit, once a week or even once a day. Sit down and write about a challenge. Name the pain. Find the lesson. Thank your fate. It might feel strange at first, even forced. That's okay. Growth isn't always comfortable, but it's always worth it. Each time you do this, you're training your mind to see life differently, to find meaning in the moments that once felt meaningless. And over time, those moments will start to feel like allies, not adversaries. But don't stop there. Let Amor Fati guide your actions. 2. If you're facing a setback, ask yourself, what can I do with this? How can I use it to grow? Maybe it's signing up for a course like Alex did, reaching out to a friend, or simply choosing to get up each morning with intention. These small acts of courage add up, and they build a life that's not just endured, but celebrated. As Nietzsche wrote, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity. Imagine living with that kind of boldness, that kind of love for your life, exactly as it is. I want to leave you with one final thought. Your life is a story, and you are its author. The plot, twists, the losses, the failures, the unexpected turns are not mistakes. They're the raw material of your masterpiece. Amor Fati is your invitation to take that material and create something extraordinary. You don't need a perfect life to live a great one. You just need the courage to love the life you have. So, go out there and start loving your fate. Share your story in the comments. Tell us about a challenge you're facing and how you're starting to see it differently. Subscribe to the channel for more Stoic wisdom to help you navigate life's ups and downs. And if this video resonated with you, share it with someone who might need to hear it. Together, we can build a community that doesn't just survive life's challenges, but thrives because of them. Thank you for being here, for choosing to grow, for choosing to love your fate. Let's keep going, together.